Hello, my name is Micah, and in this video I'm going to create a journal page in my traveler's notebook standard size. I haven't journaled in a while and want to dedicate a spread to what's been on my mind recently. It's sort of a checking in with myself page. I figured it would be fun to format this as a list of 5 things I'm currently thinking about. This way I will have a record of what's been going on without feeling overwhelmed by the idea of catching up. And if I feel like expanding on any of these topics, I can do so in later pages. Here I'm pulling out a couple labels from Erin Ware's Patreon. I love using labels for titles, and I also love making titles for pages in general, so this is a dream combination, and I think these colors are just so beautiful, and it gives me a lot to pull from because we have that green in there and that sort of like minty turquoise color, as well as some golden yellow and pink. And yeah, I've been feeling really inspired lately by the Traveler's Notebook standard size. I know that that might sound silly to feel inspired by a notebook size of all things, but there's just something about the verticality that I really enjoy. I like being able to stack writing and decoration on top of each other. I love drawing small. So I always thought that an A6 sized book would be perfect for example, illustrated journaling. But then I feel like I don't have space for writing. In this standard size, I can do an A6 sized drawing and add a little bit of journaling underneath. That's perfect. So yeah, I'm feeling really inspired by the Traveler's Notebook standard size right now. Here I've pulled out this classic-y washi tape, or I don't actually know if this would be considered washi tape. It's actually pretty sturdy paper with backing on it, but I'm gonna create some numbers with this, and I'm diving right in with my Namiki fountain pen. This is inked with a Rohreinklinger sketch ink in black, which is waterproof, and I really like that combination so that that ink is always in that pen. I often will sketch out my lettering with pencil first, especially if I've already glued down the piece of paper, which I've done in this case. So if I mess something up, you know, I don't have it stuck on the page. But here I guess I felt kind of bold and jumped right in without sketching anything out. So I got lucky there that worked out. This is one of my newest washi tapes by Baum-Kuchen, and I am in love with this tape. I am putting it everywhere. This tape is called the BK tape number 16 Daydream, and I love that Baum-Kuchen has these wonderful descriptions of their products and a little bit of the history of their products on the website. So if you want to learn more about that, I'll have them linked down below. And yeah, I knew that one of the items on my list of things that I'm thinking about is fountain pens and fountain pennings. So I'm sticking down this cat with her fountain pen because I want to make sure that I definitely have space for her there. So it's always a good idea if you have bigger items or bigger decorations to put that in first, and then work everything else. Smaller things, work those around the bigger things. And yeah, here I'm again pulling out that classic-y tape. I don't think I realized what size this tape was when I ordered it. I've had this tape for, oh gosh, maybe a year now, or maybe even longer. Yeah, it's such a big roll, and I always find myself cutting it down because it's also so wide. But yeah, otherwise I really like this tape. It's great for creating little headers, or like I'm doing here, creating little numbers. I put down the fountain pen ink. It feathers a little bit, but not too bad. I don't think it's really noticeable, so I went ahead with that. This spread actually made me realize how fun it is to journal in a list format. I'm not sure why I've never considered this before, but lists are such a great way to organize your thoughts, and they're fairly quick and easy to do. So let me know in the comments, do you create lists in your journals? And do you have topics for lists that you come back to often? I think it could be so useful and fun to have a list of list ideas that one can reference on those days when you feel like journaling, but you don't really know what to journal about. So for example, 3 ways I've been showing up for myself recently, or 5 things I've been struggling with this past month, or 4 things that brought me joy this week. I think it would be really wonderful to share our list ideas with each other in the comments below. And now I have realized that I won't be able to fit all 5 points on the same page, and decide to have number 3, 4, and 5 on the opposite page. And boy, am I happy that I haven't stuck these numbers down yet. So I'm flexible in moving things around. So I'm sticking down another strip of washi tape to have the same layout or structure that I have on the opposite page, and really make that feel cohesive. In general, I've been trying to embrace single page spreads a little bit more, and not always making every journal entry a double page spread. But in this instant, it just makes sense. Like, I never create rules for myself that don't allow for the natural flow of things. I just think that I had a phase where, yeah, everything just needed to be a double page spread, because I sometimes think then it looks the most cohesive. But it's strange with those kinds of structures how it also influences what you write and how you write, because you feel like you have limited space or too much space for something. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. I'm writing with my Kaweco Sport M-Nib, and the ink is Ferris Wheel Press Queen and Castle, which I think is a fairly recent release. It's this kind of mossy green with a rose gold shimmer. And at first I wasn't sure what to make of the shimmer. I'm usually not a shimmery, glittery person, but since I got the sample of this ink, I have been using it non-stop on everything. So, you know, there is something about just trying something, even if you think at first, oh, this is maybe not for me. And I guess ink samples are so great for that because they're fairly inexpensive. And I must say that the shimmer is also very light, at least in this Kaweco pen. So it's barely visible sometimes, so it's not like I'm writing with, you know, glitter glue or something. My number 3 of things that I've been thinking about is this book called The Power of Fun by Catherine Price, and I highly recommend this book. It's so insightful, and her writing is just very enjoyable and entertaining. She's quite funny, actually. And I decided to use the negative space up top of number 3 to add a little doodle. Well, I guess it's actually a Venn diagram. In the book, Price defines true fun as the overlap between playfulness, flow, and connection. And so I really wanted to note that down in case I forget about it. And then this is a Ferris Wheel Press Morningside Mint in an extra fine lamy. And though the Venn diagram looks a little wonky, I definitely like this way of adding this extra information. And I guess this is a great example of why I'm liking the standard size so much, because it gives you a lot of flexibility, I feel like. I don't think I would have thought of pairing these 2 ink colors together, the mossy green and the minty green, but the colorful label that Erin created makes it work, and everything looks very cohesive, I feel like. Labels like this are a great source of inspiration when it comes to color combinations, or ways to have a colorful spread that still feels pleasing to look at. I think the colors here create a hierarchy to the information, and that makes it easy to navigate the page, and it almost creates an invitation to explore the page because you have the bolder things and the more lightly colored things, and yeah, it's just really fun, I think. This is what the spread looks like so far. I really like how it's going. I'm trying to show off the shimmer in the ink, but the camera isn't quite picking it up. But I think you can see how parts of the letters are redder than others, and so that's where the shimmer is. So if you were to look at it in the right light, those would be the parts that are shimmering. I felt like there was something missing in the bottom right corner, and decided to put a little sticker down there from the Hours Studio PET tape. And then on the left side, I decided to just fill in a little bit more journaling and do the same thing that I did with the journal, with the doodle up top, and use that minty ink. So mirroring that, just I think it looks really nice. And there it is, my self-check-in journal spread. I hope you found inspiration in this video and that you take out your own journal. Maybe you even give this list idea a go of the 5 things you're currently thinking about. And yeah, thanks so much for sharing this time with me, and subscribe to stay connected. And I'll see you in the next one.